like I was watching the news the other day, and they were basically saying that the so-called Jews, the so-called Israelis, before they would drop bombs on those people, and basically that's all set up to devastate those people. Because what they're doing is, the only people that they're killing are civilians. They're killing old women, they're killing babies, you know? Basically what they're doing is, when they drop them sheets to flee, when you flee your house, they're going to bomb your house. They're going to bomb, you know, yesterday they bombed the university out there, what's it called? It's a famous university that was built about maybe 20 years ago. I think it's called the Palestinian University or something like that. But I kind of went to Google and I looked at the building and stuff, and it was an actual university with all kind of different buildings and stuff, and that cost a lot of money. Then I looked at who financed that. It was, I believe it was the IMF, the World Bank, and there were the UN, all right? Now they financed all that money. They put so many billions of dollars into building up that university to turn around and allow the so-called Jews to just destroy that. You know how much money and time it's going to take to build back Gaza? I think it was called the University of Gaza, something like that. Islamic University of Gaza. And they totally devastated it, man. And they dropped bombs on it maybe like 20 years ago, and they're doing it again. Now, like I said, I'm gonna try to make this quick. Like I said, I'm trying. And like I said, the Hamas, that organization, was established by the so-called Jews, and those leaders of Hamas, basically, they're doing the work of the so-called Jews, because they'll tell the children and the women to stay in their houses, don't run from your houses. When the so-called Jews have dropped pamphlets saying, if you don't leave in X amount of time, we're going to start bombing. But the Hamas leaders are telling them to no, stay there, don't move, all right? And then when they stay there, they get bombed, they can get their houses bombed out, and you got a bunch of babies that's dead, a bunch of women that's dead, and a bunch of old people that's dead. But if you notice, the so-called Jews have never killed one of their so-called leaders. The leaders of the Hamas, they never get their son, or they never get one of the top leaders. Now, it could be a setup where they might set up one to get killed, but all they're killing is civilians, man. And then they're using the excuse of, well, we got to defend ourselves. Well, how the fuck can you justify sending in ground troops into Gaza? That's all the setup, man. And these leaders of Hamas are telling the young teenagers to throw rocks at them. Why aren't they supplying them with guns, with missiles, rocket launchers, and all that? That's not a fair war, man.
Shut up.
And then the whole world is seeing this. The Russians are seeing this, the Chinese are seeing this. And there's, I'm sorry, but on that same magazine, it tells you about how the so-called Jews, how pretty much the rest of the European world pretty much hates them. They don't have a favorable thing to say about the so-called Jew.
Right.
Give me a second, let me find this.
I got a quick precept while the elders are looking for that, because what's going to happen is these so-called Jews doing the things that they're doing, they're going to draw America into this World War III. You know, so what it is the Lord is going to use America and them so-called Jews for them to draw America into this war with Russia. That's where you see all these different tensions and commotions going on between Russia, between America, between so-called Jews, you know, because everything's going to lead back to America being destroyed. Got that?
Jeremiah chapter 49, verse 20. Therefore, hear the counsel of the Lord that he hath taken against Edom and his purposes.
Right, because Edom, the so-called Jews, they're the main family of Edom. So the so-called white men are the Edomites, but the so-called Jews, that's Amalek. That's one of the top families of the so-called white men, of the Edomites. Okay?
That he hath proposed against inhabitants of Teman. Surely the least.
Teman are the so-called Germans. Because the so-called, like the Rothschilds of them, they all come out of Germany.
shall draw them out.
So the least of the flock is who? The so-called Jews, those gutter rats, Amalek. They're going to draw America out into what? Into the war with Russia. Because those are the two major powers on the planet. America, Russia, then you got China. So all those different world powers, the Lord is bringing them together to destroy them.
Right, and you got the so-called Jews that set that whole thing off in the land of Israel, man.
Right.
Now it says here, what 79 million Europeans think of Jews and how this is affecting European politics, right? I'm not going to go into the article. We ain't got time to go into the article. But anyway, there's some yeah, that's true. That's true. Now, I'm going to read this here because you have these little excerpts from the article, right? It says 26% of the world's adult population harbors anti-Semitic attitudes, all right? Read that again. 26% of the world's adult population harbors anti-Semitic attitudes. Now, what's 26% of the world population? What's the world population? What is it, 7 billion? Half of 7 billion is 3 of the stupid ass fucking Israelites. Don't get kicked in the fucking head too. Alright? Simple as get some simple tribes out here. Anyway, half of 7 billion is 3.5 billion, right? Half of 3.5 billion is 3.5 billion.
That's
1.75.
Yep.
That's close to 2 billion people. So close to 2 billion people harbor anti-Semitic attitude. All right?
Yeah, because they know that all the stuff that's going on around the world, somehow, some way, is connected to the so-called Jews.
It leads to them so drawing them out. So it's a good thing that you gutter rats are doing what you're doing, because you're going to lead the world into Armageddon.
That's right.
World War III. All right?
Right. Hurry up.
Hurry up. We want to get out of here.
I got a precept real quick.
Go ahead.
This is Ezekiel 7:23. Make a chain, for the land is full of bloody crimes, and the city is full of violence.
Yep.
Wherefore I will bring the worst of the heathen, and they shall possess their houses. I will also make the pomp of the strong to cease, and their holy places shall be defiled. Destruction cometh, and they shall seek peace, and there shall be none.
Yeah, because the whole world sees who the bad guy is, man. And it's you so-called Jews, and it's the U.S. that's backing these so-called Jews up.
Right.
Now it says here, 38% of Greeks think Jews, so-called Jews, caused most of the world's wars. Let me read that again.
Oh man, thanks.
38%, and that's a lot of Greeks too, of Greeks think Jews caused most of the world wars. Most of the world wars. Because now these wars right now, we're in a world war. When you have more than 2 nations involved in a war, that becomes a world war.
Yeah, well, it was Mayim Shobao that said, which Mayim Shobao was a so-called Jew. He said you always want to buy when blood is running in the streets.
So they're making money off the deal.
So, yeah.
They're super rich.
So one of the reasons why they create so many wars, or the main reason behind these wars, is because they make money off the war. They make money off the different wars.
Now this right here from the Anti-Defamation League measures anti-Semitism by the following stereotypes. These are stereotypes of the so-called Jews, right? It says Jews are more loyal to Israel than to this country, the countries they live in. America, they're more loyal to Israel, all right? And it says either probably true or probably false. The answer is probably true. It says Jews have too much power in the business world.
Yep.
Probably true. So everybody's seeing this, man. They seeing who the scumbag of the earth is, man.
They're real devils.
That's what the scriptures say when it speaks about Lucifer.